A few months ago, Google made news by announcing that it would start charging law enforcement agencies for responding to search warrants and subpoenas. Google issued a memo with a fee schedule for providing various records. The new policy is intended to help offset its costs in complying with law enforcement demands, and they're within their rights. The Stored Communications Act entitles companies in its scope to be reimbursed for responding to government information requests. So why don't more companies collect, or collect more? In an article about Google's policy change, the New York Times reported that some Silicon Valley companies have been foregoing these charges for years, in part because they, quote, can be difficult to enforce at a large scale. At Safari, we hear this every day. Of course, companies would be better off getting paid more of what they're entitled to. But with manual processes, the time spent on invoicing and collection can pretty quickly outstrip the amount at stake for any one request. It's not worth doing more than sending an invoice with your production and hoping you get paid. The problem is that the company doesn't collect what it's owed and ends up paying its own costs to respond to hundreds or thousands of requests a year. We designed Safari specifically to solve this problem by giving companies an effective way to recover their costs for responding to routine information requests. Here's how automated invoicing and collection work in Safari. Safari is a system for tracking the whole life cycle of a request, or it can integrate with an existing system and be used for invoicing, delivery, and payment. We'll look at a sample subpoena response that's ready for delivery. You have a couple of options for generating an invoice. You can use Safari to generate a custom invoice, entering line items and an amount specific to a particular request. The other option is for your company to pre-configure standard invoices with line items and amounts already filled in. For example, you might set 3 tiers corresponding to your costs for frequently requested records. In that case, the person setting up delivery just selects the appropriate pre-configured option. Either way, selecting an invoice prompts the system to collect payment from the issuer. When delivery setup is complete, Safari sends the issuer login credentials via email or fax with a unique response ID and passcode that the issuer then uses to log in and access a portal where they download the responsive documents. When the issuer logs in, they see a list of responsive documents, along with the company's invoice and the amount due for the request. The issuer pays with a credit card and is charged the invoice amount. Safari makes the documents available for download. There's no need for any follow-up because Safari collects payment when the documents are delivered. Consider that with a manual process, you might communicate with the issuer, create an invoice, send it, follow up on payment, and if you get paid, track and route a check. With Safari, you select an invoice option and open the delivery portal. Safari delivers the response and collects the payment. A process that could take hours to do manually takes just a few seconds. And that flips the "is it worth it" equation in the company's favor.